when we read the four Gospels, we have four different accounts of the death of Jesus. I wanted to bring together the four pieces of the stories to create a narrative, complete from beginning to end, from Jesus' arrest to the resurrection. What happened? How did it happen? Then I was a bit intrigued by a number of things. First, 5 interrogations by 4 different judges. And during the interrogations, Jesus did nothing to defend himself. Quite the opposite. With each answer he gave, he sunk a little deeper, as if he really wanted to lead them to condemn him through those dialogues he had with them. Yes, the King of the Jews,
That's what
the dialogues he had with his prosecutors, we could call them that. And we can clearly see that there are several levels of reading these texts, and often it hides a reference to the Old Testament that we have not necessarily thought of. And I often give the very simple example of Barabbas. We learn from Flavius Josephus that Barabbas was called Jesus, Jesus Barabbas. And our Jesus was called Jesus Ben Abbas, which means the Son of God, the Son of the Father. And we are 2 people, Barabbas. Barabbas means Son of the Father in Aramaic. Ben Abbas, that's in Hebrew. So we have Jesus, Son of the Father, versus Jesus, Son of the Father. One is condemned, the other is free.
Does it ring a bell?
The 2 sheep, it recalls the story where the high priest must choose between 2 animals that are exactly identical. One is sacrificed, another is released. And so there is a language in several words that first shows that the process of Jesus's condemnation was a perfectly controlled process. These were not events that happened just like that, but it was really well planned by someone superior who was guiding things from the wheel. And secondly, that Jesus had perfect composure. He was not impressed. He wasn't trembling, thinking, this is it, my last day has come. On the contrary, he knew he was there for that. So I opted for the fictional narrative, which allows real biblical characters who weren't given much voice in the biblical texts, such as Gamaliel, Nimes, and Joseph of Arimathea to speak. Each played a particular role. Micah was a doctor of the law, and even Nicodemus was given the title by Jesus, you are the teacher of Israel. They were authorities in theology, and I had them meet and discuss to try to understand what happened. And Jesus's confrontation with these executioners, these future executioners, we learn a lot of things. They meet King Herod, and the king asks him questions, and he says to him, but why are you asking me these questions?
I have always spoken.
Openly have it
In the synagogues, I work in the light, you receive me.
Or at midnight.
And you in secret, you question
And
me.
Kaif does the same thing, and Anne the same thing.
He was judged at night. And this meeting between these 3 characters, I place it chronologically between the death and resurrection of Jesus. 3 days, we know nothing. The Bible says nothing. It says he died. And on the 3rd day, the women went to visit. So it was necessary to refer to tradition. In Jewish tradition, what happens afterward? Because Jews bury their dead immediately, not like with Christians or Muslims where you can wait a few days. No. On the day of death, if possible, they are buried immediately for various reasons. But on the 3rd day, the women go to visit the tomb to embalm the body, etc. What happened during this period? It's that period that I chose to unfold this story. And then there is the resurrection of Jesus.